What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, we have another story time from the year 2011, and I have story times for days about the year 2011 because that was one of the worst years of my entire life. Before we get into it though, I want to officially announce, I know you guys saw me post about it on Instagram and you guys saw me post in the community tab, but I wanted to let you guys know that my podcast is officially here. After an entire year of wanting a podcast, it is finally here, and I'm doing it through Anchor, which means Anchor has dispersed it to a bunch of different platforms, including Spotify. If you guys know what these little doobly-doos are, that's where you can listen to it. And hopefully by the time you guys are watching this video, episode 2 has been released. So I can't wait for you guys to hear our podcast. And I know a lot of you wanted me to put it on YouTube. It is so much work to not only record a podcast, but then to put it on YouTube. And just for right now, just to get it up and running, I have to do what's easiest for me because life is just crazy right now for so many of us. So I'm just so excited that it's finally here. You can click the link down below to hear my first podcast. Also, if you guys don't know, I also have a Patreon. There's one tier, it's $2. There'll never be another tier, and you can click that link down below also. Okay, enough announcements. Don't timestamp me. Don't you do it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. "2011 sucked ass." So this story time takes place long time ago in 2011 when I was a meth dealer. Now let me give you guys a little bit of a backstory. I didn't have a lot of friends. I knew a lot of people, but I didn't have a lot of friends. Get my drift? There were a couple of people though that I kind of depended on in that world. People that if I called them, I knew they'd answer. If I asked for something that I needed, they would come through. There were a couple of people like that, but the majority, if I set my phone down, they might steal it. You know what I mean? So, which 100% is just the drugs making them that way. I saw a lot of shady stuff when I was in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I learned a lot that year. It was a really bad year, but I learned a lot about who I am. And I don't regret it. So I was a meth dealer during this time, and you meet a lot of random people when you're selling, but you also meet a large number of people when you are on methamphetamine. It's just the culture, you know, you meet someone that's a friend of a friend of a friend's brother's cousin's dog walker, you know what I mean? So I had met this girl and I liked her a lot. As soon as I met her, she was just cool and laid back and just the kind of chick that I wanted to hang out with, you know, the kind of chick that I wanted to be friends with. However, I also knew that I had to keep my guard up around her because she could sell dope for me, but I had to kind of be there, you know what I mean? If I was just like, here, take all this, she would never come back. But I liked her, even though I knew that that was a part of who she was at that time, being on drugs. I didn't really care because I just wanted a friend, you know? And I was really, really low at this point in my life. And even though I knew that she would rip and run on me in a heartbeat, stay tuned for that story time, I still wanted to be her friend. So one night I went over to her boyfriend's house and we're hanging out and we're playing Xbox, and he had a fish tank. So I was like really excited about the fish, and I was trying to feed the fish, and like, you know, I like animals more than people, you know? So I'm like really excited about the fish. And I'm asking him the names. He doesn't care about telling me these fish's names. And I'm like, did you not name your fish? What kind of monster are you? So it was just kind of just a laid back chill night. My friend and her boyfriend are bagging up meth. We were smoking a bowl also. And at about 2 o'clock in the morning, I got a text from someone that I considered my friend. We're gonna call him Little Bro because we were close and I could depend on him. And if I needed something, I knew I could call him. Well, Little Bro texted me and he's like, yo, where you at? I need X amount of meth. And I said, okay, sure. You know, I'm on this side of town. I was on the south side. You know, here's the address. But the address was like 10 doors down from where I really was. I didn't want to bring traffic to, you know, to my friend's boyfriend's house, and I didn't know if he was gonna come with anyone, and I just didn't want to do that to them, you know? That would have just been kind of shitty if I brought a bunch of strangers over to their house, you know? Not cool. Normally, when I would go do a deal at 2 o'clock in the morning, I would have someone with me. Not only that, but when I would do a deal at 2 o'clock in the morning for the quantity that he's asking for, I would at least have some kind of a weapon on me. As you guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, I was arrested with 2 ounces of meth and simultaneous possession of drugs and a firearm. I always armed myself because I am small. And because I am a small female, a lot of people tried to rob me. And the only ones that succeeded were the ones that were close to me, like my ex-boyfriend. So to get back on track with the story, I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you, no problem. And I was in a hurry because I was high. And I just grabbed the bag that he asked for, I put it in my pocket, and I just walked out the door to meet him, you know? And I wasn't even thinking about it. Now, let me just pause the story here. In these moments where my guard is let down, that is when I am at my most vulnerable. When I'm not even thinking about it and I'm too comfortable doing this deal, I'm too comfortable with this person, then I have let my guard down and I'm in danger. And I knew that, you know, I'm not dumb by any means, but it happens, you know. This person caught me off guard, and that sucks. So as I went to leave, my friend's boyfriend was like, yo, be careful, okay? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. If I need help, I'll text you. I said it as a joke. I said it as a joke. I didn't actually think that I would need help. But I'm like, yeah, I'm good. If I need your help, I'll text you. Well, I start to walk down the street because little bro is going to be there and, you know, he wants this stuff. So I get to the corner where he is supposed to meet me and I stand there for a couple of minutes. I'm like, oh, if he's not trying to show up, I'm trying to leave. So I started to walk off when a truck pulled up and 4 people plus little bro jump out of the truck and they surround me. Immediately, I grabbed my phone and I texted help. And I put the phone away. It was like a disposable flip phone. Now I'm standing there, and the reason why I texted so fast is because that is not normal. For that truck to pull up as quickly as it did and then everyone jumps out and comes at me, I immediately felt like something is wrong. My gut was like, problem, so I immediately texted help and in all capital letters and put the phone away. Now, they immediately surround me. One girl, her and I have problems. We got problems. Her and I have problems. And she has already had it out for me and we've just disagreed about some things in the past. Now there's 3 guys I don't know and little bro. And they said, where's the dope? I'm like, fuck you. They continue to tell me that if I don't give up that dope, they're gonna shoot me for it. Now I didn't see a gun on them, so I was like, fucking shoot me then. Because that's the kind of person that I was. Was I a little scared? Obviously, I texted for help, but you're not gonna see that I'm scared. And I look over at little bro and I'm like, are you kidding me with this? And they're like, yo, they got my phone. And I'm like, bullshit, bullshit. Now I stand there for a second and it is uncomfortable. And there's a guy kind of behind me and he goes like this and he grabs me by the throat. And I'm standing there and I can see down the street, my friend's boyfriend is sprinting towards us. So as scared as I was to be in a fucking headlock right now, I saw him coming towards me and I felt immediately better, immediately. So I laughed, but I laughed because I was like, oh, thank God. You know what I mean? Like, thank God. So they have me by a headlock and my friend's boyfriend's like, let her go, let her go. And he's like freaking out and he pushed that girl to the side so that he could get to me because she was kind of standing in front of me and everyone else is kind of on the sides. So he pushed her a little bit and went to grab me from him. And now it's me and my friend's boyfriend and all these other people and he's yelling. He's like, get back, like, ah, right? So they're like, yo, man, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. And I didn't even notice until we turned around to walk back to the apartment. He had a gun in his hand, but he was like holding it, not like by the trigger, he was just holding it in his hand. But I didn't even notice that in like all of the chaos of that. So we're walking back to the apartment. I keep looking behind us because now I think that they're gonna run up on us, you know? They waited for us to turn our back to them and they're gonna run up on us. And like, hey, PTSD, but I'm just like, constantly. And then I looked down and I had seen the gun in his hand and now I start thanking him. I'm just like, thank you so much. I can't believe that you just helped me out of that. It was supposed to be my friend. He said to me, girl, you don't have any friends in this world. And I smiled and I just knew that he was right. I knew that he was right. And I didn't sleep. We stayed up talking about that. I was kind of shocked that it happened and I was a little embarrassed that I even needed help. And from that moment on, I didn't leave the house without a weapon, and I didn't go by myself to a lot of things. Little bro came up to me a few days later and apologized, but let me walk you through what happened next. So the sun came up and my friends wanted to go to the north side of Fort Smith, and they only had a motorcycle. So my friend was like, oh, just start walking, he'll come back and pick you up, you know, so just start walking from the south side to the north side, and he'll come pick you up. Just stay along this main strip. He's gonna drop me off, then he'll come get you. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll see you in a few minutes. And I start walking and walking and walking, and no one came to pick me up. And you like, about 20 minutes into my walk, I was like, he's not coming back. There's no way that they're coming back, and they just wanted to get me out of the house so they could leave. And it is what it is, you know, that's just part of it. That's just part of the world that I was living in at the time. So it was really, really hot in 2011 in Arkansas, and at like 7 o'clock in the morning, it was already like over 100 degrees, and I remember just pouring in sweat. I couldn't wear makeup because if I tried to put makeup on, it would pour down my body, and it was just not a good look. So yeah, I walked from the south side to the north side, and I went back to a trailer on Midland and Albert Pike. And I remember just for a couple days being very, very edgy, very on edge, very sketched out, very hyper aware of my surroundings, and I didn't want to go anywhere by myself. You know, I was very, very nervous. And now I think I've told this story on CG Kids channel, but about a week after that situation happened, I had been up the whole time. I had been up for over a week, and at about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, I had walked to this corner store, and I got a Mountain Dew and a Milky Way because that was like my vices on meth. I needed, you know, I needed sugar. I didn't eat very much, so I would need to eat something really quickly to bring my sugar levels back up. And I remember walking to this little, you know, corner store, and then I was walking back to the trailer park on Midland and Albert Pike, and I saw an SUV coming dead at me, and they were on the side of the road, and they were gonna hit me, and I jumped out of the way, falling on the ground. And I got up and I looked around, and there was people across the street, and they were like, what the hell? And I'm like, did you see that? It didn't happen. I hallucinated a car almost hitting me. And in that moment, I was so pissed that they were like laughing at me. Like, why are you laughing? A car just almost hit me and I had to jump out of the way. Like, what is funny about that? And then after I had gotten some sleep, I was thinking about that situation again, and I realized to myself that that wasn't real. And that was so frustrating for me, because what is real and what is not? Like, I saw that car, it was so real. But then I'm like, did you feel the wind of the car? I mean, was there anything that was real? Did you watch the car drive away? I didn't feel the wind as the car almost hit me. I didn't watch the car drive away. I just immediately stood up and looked across the street where these people were staring at me. And it was very difficult to admit to myself that that car almost hitting me wasn't real, because now I'm starting to question everything. I'm starting to question my whole reality. And there was another moment where I was alone in this trailer, middle of the night. I was hearing voices in Spanish. I couldn't understand much Spanish at the time, and it really was just working up in my head. And I had twisted this around in my head, and they're out there, and they are there, and they are speaking in Spanish so that I can't understand them, and they're outside this trailer. And I grabbed my gun, and I eventually, I mean, this took hours to get the courage to do this. I grabbed the door and I swung it open, because I'm gonna see people out there talking, and there was no one there. Now that was really difficult for me, because I didn't think that not me, I'm not gonna lose touch with reality. I'm okay. I can go sell that by myself. I can do this, like, I'm fine. And I kept telling myself that I was okay, and that I wouldn't hallucinate. I'm not the kind of person that hallucinates. The reality of that is a combination of sleep deprivation and methamphetamine plus lack of nutrition. Your brain starts to do all kinds of things, and you can't outsmart addiction, and you can't outsmart methamphetamine. I really thought that I was different. I really thought that I had my addiction under control, because that's what addiction does. Addiction lies to us. I was completely out of control. I put myself in so many dangerous situations, I can't even count them all. There were so many times where I got so lucky. Thinking back to it all, I can't even believe that I survived a lot of things that I did. So if you are still struggling in addiction, please find the strength to reach out for help. It does not make you weak asking for help. It makes you strong. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, and I will see you in my next one.